News 4 Texas is closed caption for the hearing impaired. From KDFW-TV in Dallas-Fort Worth, covering the state of Texas, this is News 4 Texas at 10.
There seems to be a lessening of terrorist activity during this period.
Relaxed security at DFW Airport means more parking, and just in time for the holiday rush. Good evening, I'm Julia Summers.
And I'm Richard Gray. Overnight, DFW Airport reopened 400 parking spaces. Today, the Federal Aviation Administration gave the go-ahead to open up all 1,400, closed due to concerns about the threat of terrorism. Jeff Crilley is at the airport tonight. He's going to tell us about a timely change in policy, Jeff.
Well, it sure is. I'm standing in one of the 400 parking spaces that opened up today. Tomorrow, another 1,000 are added to it, bringing to the number to a total of 1,400 spaces, as you said. I'm standing outside of gate 3E here, Terminal 3E, where for the last month, all these parking spaces have been roped off. But now the FAA is saying the security is not what they thought it was, so they're now saying that Thanksgiving Day travelers have another reason to get thanks.
Just about.
Holiday travel is hardly ever hassle-free, but at least now the headaches don't have to begin in the parking lot.
It was pretty bad, especially Friday. I came through here Friday, and it was real bad Friday.
The airport is reopening parking near the terminal, spots that had been closed for more than a month as a precaution against car bomb attacks. Michael Cassett says it's made picking up his parents from the airport a lot easier than when he dropped them off.
You couldn't drive through here, and you had to keep going and go down the bottom, and there's nowhere to park, and it took like an extra 10 minutes.
There we go. The FAA is relaxing its security order because it doesn't see the same threat of terrorism it did a few weeks ago.
Getting into the holiday, they were very aware of the congestion and the inconvenience to the traveling public that this level 3 would have caused, and they feel comfortable enough to lower it.
Unattended vehicles sitting at the curb will still be towed away, but more than likely, enforcement won't be nearly as aggressive as it has been in the last month.
You park like, I'd say about 5 or 10 minutes or so. Next thing you know, the boot will be on your car and, just be stuck.
Despite the reduction in security, crews will continue to work on the windows to make them more shatter-resistant, because the one thing they don't want to fly at an airport is glass. Let me show you this protective coating here. It's about paper thin, but what they do is they laminate it onto the window, and it keeps the window together. The window will still shatter, but it keeps the window together, and it keeps those shards of glass from flying around the airport.
Thanks. That's Jeff Crilley reporting live at DFW Airport.
Day 5 of the government shutdown brings a little hope tonight for compromise. Just a few hours ago, Republicans indicated they're prepared to make a new offer to the White House. At the same time, President Clinton says he's working hard to figure out a way to get federal workers back on the job by Monday. The shutdown affects thousands of North Texans, and for one family in particular, it's meant a painful separation. Carlos Aguilar reports from the small town of Kaufman.
That really upsets me.
While stationed in Panama, Larry Counts met Luz, a Colombian national, and fell in love.
She's a very beautiful lady, and I guarantee there's not one better. She's very understanding.
After coming home to the Dallas area, Counts sent for Luz. They had a baby boy just a month ago. But the family wasn't complete. Luz still had a son back in Colombia. Then this month, after 2 years of paperwork, she went with her newborn son to get 4-year-old Miguel. However, recently, when the Republican leadership and President Clinton couldn't agree on the budget, the government shutdown stranded Luz and her 2 sons in Bogota. Count says U.S. Embassy personnel told him they couldn't finish processing the visa for little Miguel.
They don't realize that my wife has been waiting for this moment for years to get her son to join us here in America so we can raise our family as one whole.
Count says he's upset with the politicians whose actions have impacted on his family.
The government shut down, and I'm very frustrated with our government right now, and I guarantee you this, I want the people to hear this. If I have to vote for people like the people that's in our government today, I don't have to think about who I vote for next time. I'm going to have to really consider who I want in my office.
Counts also says his pleas to his congressman, senator, and government officials have gone unanswered. In the meantime, all he has is an empty house and doesn't know when his family will get home.
I'd like to spend Thanksgiving with my family. It's going to be our first Thanksgiving together totally. We spent Thanksgiving with her and I last year, but this year it's going to be her and I and the 2 babies.
Count says he would be devastated if his family wasn't home for the holiday. He's so frustrated, he just wishes people would call their politicians to let them know how this government shutdown has affected the average person. Carlos Aguilar, News 4 Texas.
Count says not only is the separation painful, it's also expensive. He's retired from the military and says he simply cannot afford his wife's unnecessary stay in Bogota.
Republican presidential frontrunner Bob Dole is claiming a victory tonight. Dole won the Florida straw poll. That's the last major test of candidate strength this year before the onset of caucuses and primaries next. However, Dole's 33% win wasn't big enough to satisfy his rivals.
If this vote had been tomorrow, it would have been a tie. If this vote had been on Monday, we would have won. Our message is winning this election.
Texas Senator Phil Gramm says his second-place finish proves that he is now in a 2-man race. Former Tennessee Governor Lamar Alexander finished 3rd.
An upcoming Dallas school board election sparked a voter registration drive by the NAACP. A January 20th trustee election will fill the seat vacated by Dan Peavy, who resigned after the release of tapes in which he used racial slurs and vulgar language. The NAACP believes it's important to register minority voters, even though the organization still has not yet endorsed any particular candidate.
We really need to work hard to get someone in that position that's going to be responsive to the minority students that are represented, overly represented actually, in GISD.
The NAACP has a goal of 600 new registered voters.
Mothers